Hello everyone. This brief video is to give a high-level overview of how StoryPulse can help clinical educators. StoryPulse is a closed-loop learning and assessment platform designed to help customer-facing teams across various industries to assess, educate, and engage their end users. When we talk about clinical trainers, typically, they get a work order assigned in the field. That's the starting point. And then once a work order gets assigned, after a clinical laser or any other device or equipment is installed at a particular customer site, the clinical trainers are responsible to plan their training sessions based upon their calendars, based upon the customer's calendar, location, etc. And then they typically drive down to the location or fly to the location depending upon the distance, complete the training at the spa or at the hospital or whatever the facility is, after which they need to complete a lot of paperwork, capture voice of the customer, synchronize the data with backend systems like a CRM system. And in addition to that, oftentimes they end up generating certificates to motivate and inspire the trainees. The steps shown in 4 and 5 are often manual and sort of cause a last mile problem for the clinical trainers. While the platform is awesome, for example, a Salesforce or whatever the CRM system is, just manually managing and completing this paperwork is a major hurdle for the clinical trainers. StoryPulse is designed to seamlessly capture the data in the field as they complete their training and synchronize the information with a backend CRM platform such as Salesforce. Field service lightning is often used by clinical teams to manage their work orders, and that is a completely optional when it comes to StoryPulse. You can initiate StoryPulse from field service, capture the feedback, and then push the data into the Salesforce platform. The tool supports offline and online content. It supports learning on the go for sales teams and clinical teams who have a lot of content and who are always on the road. In addition, the benefits include improved productivity, total cost of ownership reduction, and a platform to capture the comprehensive voice of the customer from both structured and unstructured text. The training feedback could come in a qualitative or a quantitative format. We will be able to analyze the text and share insights to the clinical teams. In the next few minutes, we will see a brief demo. To begin with, I'll ask Jayashree, my colleague, to share her screen and play the role of a clinical operations person who will be responsible to define forms for various medical devices that a brand might own. As Jayashree belongs to the clinical operations team, she is creating an assessment here that consists of basic information. The forms can be very complex, but in the interest of the demo, we just created a simple form by using drag and drop capabilities to build and manage the forms over a period of time. Once the teams are good with it and legal approves it, Jayashree can just publish this form and make sure that this form is available for clinical teams for consumption. So once the form is published, I'll request Sriharsha, my colleague, to share his screen and show what that journey would look like from a clinical trainer's perspective. So this is StoryPulse on an iPad. The first thing is for Sriharsha to be able to select an account or a contact or a customer, depending upon the use case, and then pick the form that Jayashree just published that should be already available in this. So when the device training form is selected, here there could be a list of questions. Again, we showed you a very simple form. However, they can be extremely complex from a layout perspective and from a field perspective. Then once Sriharsha completes this information here from a trainer name he can enter the names. There could be multiple people that could be trained at a particular location. And in addition to that, they can complete the fields which are associated with the training, operational training. So click on done. Whatever the fields are will show up here. And once completed, Sriharsha can save this information or submit it. Once submitted, the forms automatically get generated into a PDF version and gets pushed into the backend CRM system for compliance. So at a future point of time, when the audit or compliance teams want to analyze the information, all the attachments will be there as PDF documents to a specific work order and can be reviewed at any point of time. In addition to this, StoryPulse also has the ability to capture voice of the customer, which can be just a different form that can be used to understand the impact of training, to understand the customer's perception of training, and improve the training at a later point of time. Finally, the attendance can be calculated to be able to track all the folks who have been trained at this particular location, at this particular site. So once the names are entered, first name, last name, the title, and whether attendance is a yes or no, then what happens is once this information is saved, certificates automatically get generated and get emailed to the customers without the interference of the clinical training team, which drastically reduces the effort and complexity of completing paperwork in the field and pushing out the certificates over a period of time. We hope that you find this video helpful. Please reach out to contact@focalcxm.com for any queries. Thank you very much.